Welcome to the How Good Is. So you're going to take a look at Kagome, who probably will be the fastest review on this entire channel because there's not really a whole lot to say about this. There's going to be a Kimochi battle coming up in just a few days, and she's basically made exactly to be a perfect unit for this next Kimochi battle, so there you go. Does she do anything else other than be good for this Kimochi? Well, not really. She's basically just made for that. But let's actually go through her stuff and see what she actually does. She has 2 Excellers, 2 charge discs. As you can see with support type, we're not really expecting much from her stats. Her discs are also rather average, I would say. There is something important about her not having that many Excel discs, and we'll see why in a second. But yeah, as I mentioned, the stats really aren't that great. You're really not expecting supports to have good stats anyway. But the reason why it's actually okay for her to only have 2 Excel discs is because of her personal, which is Excel Draw. Now, you might be thinking, okay, but if she can Excel Draw, or just generally, if she's a support, why would she not want to have more Excel discs? Well, the thing is that you're going to try and have her get doppel through some other means. For example, there's other characters on your team who give MP restore, or I can tell you right now, she has a SE node that helps her get more MP. And you're trying to just get or doppel maybe once every 4 turns or something. Like you do one on turn 1 and then you do maybe one on turn 4 or something like that, and that's it. You only need 2 doppels for the entire battle, so you don't actually need that many Excel discs overall. You're just gonna get that through probably some other means. Like I said, for some other people having MP restore, for example, party wide, and you might just get a whole bunch of MP for that, or just through Excel combos already giving you a bunch of MP. So you're not trying to race that hard for MP, so it's actually better if your Excel Draw actually gives more Excel discs to other characters. So that's actually okay for her to have less Excel discs, exactly because she has Excel Draw to give more Excel discs to other characters. Moving on though, we see her connect, it gives dazzle attack, and we're gonna keep all that in mind. The fact that, by the way, I should probably mention this right now, the next Kimochi has a special effect that it had before in the past but has been buffed. It's called Frailty, where the Kimochi will debuff itself with Frailty, and then every single tile, which is the new change, now every single tile of that boss will take bonus damage, and it will take more bonus damage the more separate different ailments are on the boss. Okay, so the fact that she has 100% dazzle on attack is already providing you with at least one of those ailments to put on the boss immediately, so her connect is actually somewhat useful. So if you do use her Excel Draw and you do get a Puella combo with her, or you just generally get her connect, then at least you can put that dazzle on the enemy. Then what do we have? We have a attribute strength from damage to all enemy, because of course it does, because she is a Kimochi unit. She also does poison, so once again another stats element, and it's important that it's a different one because 2 dazzles don't stack. But dazzle and poison, you can put both of those on the enemies, that works. Also a force attribute attacker, because of course it's a Kimochi unit, so of course it buffs the allies. And then it does some defensive stuff, which honestly doesn't really matter that much, not really that important. But if you take her into any other content outside of it, then I guess you could use her as a sort of healer as well. But if you're taking her into any other content, I guess the attribute strength from damage probably does more harm than good, because if you're going into a 100 evils battle, for example, how many water enemies are going to be on there? Because you're probably going to use a doppel against enemies that aren't water, and then it does way less damage than if it was just normal damage. Poison also isn't that great outside of this specific Kimochi. I mean, buffs are nice, but outside of Kimochi, you're probably not going to cap on attack up that quickly, so it doesn't really matter that this is forest attack up. So yeah, it's specifically for Kimochi. Outside of that, it's not terrible. She's just a very average support, I would say, outside of that, with some healing, some attack up, but overall nothing crazy. Also, of course, she does nothing in mirrors, because of course she doesn't. Moving on with the SE, she has a little bit of Excel, which is okay. Some bonus MP gain up, and together with that she also has MP gauge increased on battle start for 30%, so she starts the battle with, I didn't do the maths, 45 MP, which, yeah, already if you just get an Excel combo turn 1, you're already sitting at 65 MP, that's already looking pretty nice. And in Kimochi, especially on battle 2 and battle 3, you're already going to be starting with a bunch of MP, so this helps out a lot to just get to very quick doppels right at the beginning of the battle. Apart from that, he has aquatic damage card, which I don't really know exactly what it is here. I guess you could argue that, oh, but in this Kimochi you could use fire characters, and then fire characters could get specifically hit with weak MP bonuses, and then with weak MP bonuses they get more MP, and then with that they could, for example, if it's a Manaka could buff the entire group with attack up, or you get or even if you have money, you would have a Tsubaki who would buff the entire group with attack up and damage up and all kinds of cool stuff. Although I think, isn't it fire attack up? But the point is, you could do some weak MP shenanigans, and then the aqua attribute damage card would actually help out. But I think those if you're doing those strategies, those characters are probably not gonna die anyway, so you probably don't even need these, I guess. But she has that. More importantly though, she can also apply Dazzle on attack, so if you do draw some of her Excel Discs and use them, you have a chance of just putting some Dazzle on the enemy. That said, it lasts for only 1 turn, so if you use, for example, 3 Excel Discs, and let's say for example your second or even your third Excel Disc applies the Dazzle, then it doesn't really do much, because then it just drops off immediately after the enemy attack, so you're not actually getting much use out of that, if any. More importantly though, her active does Fog, Darkness and Dazzle to the target for 5 turns. There you go, 3 different ailments immediately at once. And keep in mind, none of this is poison, which means you can stack it with a double to get in another stars aimment in there for a total of 4 stars aimments, all of them at 100% chance against the Kimochi that has Frailty. So yeah, there you go. You do that and the boss will take an insane amount of damage from all your other attacks, especially if they attribute strength from damage, and guess what, she also attribute strength from damage herself anyway. So yeah, it looks pretty nice. Overall, just basically a Kimochi unit, doesn't do much else. You could argue that, oh, with Excel Draw you can take her into other kind of like 100 evils and she can at least draw you some Excel Discs, but she herself won't do that much, I guess. Now to take a quick look at her, not her personal, but her Gacha Memoria. It's pretty good actually. Now I took a look at some other Memoria, and we have, for example, the Ren Memoria, which has 25% Maga damage up. This one is 30%. And it also has Excel MP again up, which is insane actually. Now it has stats. Who the fuck cares about that? That doesn't fucking matter. But yeah, stat-wise, this thing is pretty fucking crazy, especially because it also has a really high amount of base attack. So this one is just way overstated, because they really want to sell this Memoria. So if you really want to go really hard on this Kimochi or other future Kimochi where you go with Magia damage, this is perfect. This is absolutely perfect. So yeah, once again, if you want to do Kimochi, you gotta roll for this, not just for the character, but also for this Memoria. Yay. That was that though. There's not much else to say about this. Hope you guys enjoyed this. Hit the subscribe button, ring the bell, and I'll see you guys next time.